Hey guys, I'm going to do another get ready with me today, and I'm going to do a smoky eye. A few of you requested me do one of these, so I thought I would recreate the one I had done maybe a month or so back, and it was the one that was pretty dark, heavy, leaning a little black. I got the idea from Jessica Green 518 here on YouTube, and I kind of did a little bit of my own take, so I thought I would recreate it today because I really did like how it turned out. A bunch of you commented on those videos that I was wearing it saying you liked it. I think it was maybe like my August low buy pics or my September low buy pics, one of those videos. And I did go ahead and do my foundation today. I haven't set with powder yet. I went back to an old favorite that I was wearing last winter. It's the BB Disappour by Dr. Jart Beauty Balm. And I apply this a little bit as a primer, a tiny amount, and I mainly put it on areas where I need a little bit of coverage and my foundation to stay. And I was so happy to have that again. I can't wear that under my foundation in the summer because it's too heavy, just humidity here. And then I went in with my It Cosmetics CC cream, which I'm like almost done with. I'm so sad. And I used a little less than I usually use of this, and I was able to cover up everything, and it looks great. And then my two little MAC Prep and Prime Radiant Rose and Light Boost underneath the eyes. And I primed with the Urban Decay Anti-Aging Eye Primer, and I filled in my brows with my Hourglass Arch Brow. And that's all I've done so far. So, first off, what I had done that day, and I almost wish I had filmed myself doing it because I'm hoping I can recreate it good. If I don't, you'll just see this and it will be like, you know, everybody makes mistakes. Okay, this is the little nub of my eyeliner I have left, and I had done, it is a base. But I didn't put too much on because I didn't want it to be, you know, just too much. And then this is like a little Sigma E25. These are the little cheapy freebies that you get with orders. I haven't ordered from Sigma in a long time, so I don't know if they still send them. And I always use these when I want to blend out, sorry, cream eye products in case I mess up my nicer brushes. So, I'm not a really big smoky eye person. I love how they look, but I don't really do it a whole lot. So you can see it's starting to blend out, but it's a slow process because I don't want to have so much black on my eye. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more. But I do like a smoky eye. But it's just not something I feel super comfortable wearing day to day. And I guess I don't feel like super comfortable with my skills, because I feel like it's something that you have to be a lot more, it's not as forgiving as, say, my regular everyday eye looks. So you can see it is quite crazy. And my skin, because I haven't powdered yet, it has a lot more of a dewy look. And then this time I drew the lines a little more, not as concentrated. So I really hope this turns out good for the sake of the video. And I had a few videos I was planning on filming today as well. I have not been filming as much lately. We've had quite a few issues lately. I had a skin infection of my foot. It was cellulitis. That sounds awful. I have psoriasis on the bottom of my feet, and so I guess I was more prone to getting it. And I never wear socks with my sneakers. And I wore a pair of Converse that give me blisters. And if I don't wear socks, and I know they do, but the socks I like to wear with them because they're the lowest show socks were dirty. So I just wore them anyways, which I shouldn't have done, but you know, it was my own fault. And it gave me a blister, and my foot hurt that night, but it wasn't that bad. And I woke up the next morning and my foot was really, really sore. I'm going into my Lorac Pro, and I'm going to use espresso. I don't know if she had gone in with black or espresso. I don't remember now, but I want to definitely keep it a little warmer and a little lighter because black just tends to pull grayish blue on me. And, you know, it's not my favorite look, so I'm going to try to do something to keep it a little warmer. So my foot was so sore that next day, and I just was like, well, this is weird, but whatever. The weather has been crazy, so I thought it could have probably been part of my psoriasis acting up, because my psoriasis will act up on the bottoms of my feet to where some days it really hurts to walk and just almost impossible. So I didn't do a lot that day, and then the next morning I woke up and it was this little, it's like a local, I don't want to say a craft fair, but kind of, where a ton of vendors come from all over, and it's outside, and they have booths, and they have a lot of like children's and baby clothes and women's clothes, home decorations, food like jams, jellies, homemade pickles, stuff like that. It's a really huge ordeal. Huge. It happens twice a year. And it was that day, and my mom had come up for that. And I didn't want to miss it. My daughter loves it. I was letting her skip preschool to go, because everybody has like little stands where you can try stuff, and she always has a list of stuff she wants, like the homemade strawberry lemonade, the red velvet fudge, candied pecan, stuff like that. She just loves going. It's fun. So my mom was like, you don't need to go, you don't need to walk on your foot, but I just didn't want to miss it, you know. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go. Probably shouldn't have, but looking back, whatever. Okay, so that is the espresso over top. So it kind of tones it down a little bit, but it's still pretty intense. So I am going in with my Too Faced Natural Matte Palette into Honey Butter. And I'm going to add that kind of as like a starting blending color. Which I could have done this before the espresso and it might have been good, but I didn't. So we walked around some, and I was like, we'll just do the stuff Q wants to do, and then we'll go home. Because you get there real early. I think we got there around like 7. Maybe 6:30. And my foot was just swelling, swelling, swelling. And my friend, she lives over there, and she was working at the thing, and she was like, well, do you want my dad to look at it? He's not a doctor or anything, but, you know, I guess he had some knowledge. I said, yeah, and we went and met up with him, and he looked at it, and he was just like, well, he said, you know, I wouldn't wait. I'd get to the doctor. And I had already told her, tell him I'm a freaker. I mean, I freak out, so not to be like, oh my gosh, go. He was just like, you know, I wouldn't wait. So we'd been there about 2 hours. We'd done everything my daughter wanted to do. I'd seen most of the stuff I wanted to see. It's just the one in October is so fun because it has all the Christmas stuff. So anyways, if it wouldn't have been for that, I don't know. So I think my foot swole a little bit more. I hope y'all don't mind hearing this story. If you were here for the smoky eye, then you can just mute what I'm saying. I have a general practitioner that I see around my house because my OB's a little further away. Not too far, but like 20 minutes away. And the general practitioner was like, we're booked up. We don't have any appointments for the rest of the day, and we don't have any tomorrow either. And this was Thursday, so I was like, well, crap. So back to the Lorac Pro, and I'm going to take a mix of Sable and Garnet. Just a little bit of Sable and a little bit of Garnet. And I'm going to blend that lower down, kind of underneath the honey butter. And I'm probably going to go back in with some more honey butter and everything else. And that's, I guess, in my crease. I don't usually use like a lot of just true crease colors. Everything's kind of a blending color to me. So I called my OB and she was like, yeah, we'll work you in. You may have to see the nurse practitioner, because I mean, this was like calling at the last minute and getting an appointment for that same day. So I think my appointment was like 2 hours from then. So I went home, washed my feet because they were pretty gross, because I had to wear flip-flops there because I couldn't have put real shoes on. And I got there and I saw the nurse practitioner first, and she was like, she said it looks kind of like it might be a spider bite. And we had gone to that little camping thing the weekend before. And I was like, well, do you think it was from that? And she said, I can't imagine that it would take this long to show up if you had had a spider bite. She said, I just can't imagine that a blister would cause this. And I mean, I had pictures. My whole ankle was like from my calf down to my foot was just the same size. It was so swollen. And if I hadn't gone to that outdoor thing, I don't think it would have swollen as bad, and I don't think I would have gone to the doctor that day. So I can't hate myself for what I did. And she was like, she said, you definitely, she's like, you know, I'm going to put you on antibiotics. And so she was like, let me go get your doctor. So she brought in my doctor to look at it. I guess it's like she wanted a second opinion. Okay, so this is what it's looking like at this point. So it's definitely the darker black, and it kind of fades up to a bit of a reddish brown and a little more tan. And we are definitely not done. So I'm going to go back in with my honey butter and hope that I can get it really... You know what I'm going to do first? I'm going to take some of that nudie because it's a little more flesh colored. And I'm going to do that around the edges first, and then I'm going to go back in honey butter. So my doctor was like, oh boy. She was like, this is bad. I'm not going to freak you out, but you know, she was like, this is bad. So they discussed what antibiotic to put me on, being at the stage of my pregnancy I was in. Basically, I'm lucky that I was still in my second trimester. Knocking on the door of the third, but still in my second. So she was like, she drew on my foot with a marker, and she said, if it spreads outside of this line, you need to go straight to the emergency room. And I was like, what? I'm a freak out person. I just freak out. She was like, yeah, she said, I mean, I will not be surprised if you end up in the hospital this weekend. So I'm like, oh, crap, you know. And so she sent me home with a prescription of Bactrim, and she said, take 2 doses today, even though it's 12 hours apart. She said, you need to get it in your system. And she said, and keep your feet elevated above your heart as much as you can. So luckily for me, my mom was already here. So she was able to help. And I went and got my prescription, and I stayed in the bed the rest of the day, all night. I didn't get up except to pee. And I kept my feet elevated all night long. And I woke up and the swelling had gone down so much. It was so much less red, but the redness was like it had spread a tiny bit, but not a lot. My camera battery is acting like it may die, so we may have to come back in a minute. So I don't know. Anyways, and so I called her, and it was Friday, and I was like, can I come back in and let you see it one more time before the weekend? Because I wanted to know, did I need to go to the hospital? And she saw it, and she was like, whew. She said, I really thought when I saw you on my schedule that I'd be checking you into the hospital today. She said, it looks good. She said, it's still, you know, it's still sketchy, so keep doing exactly what you're doing. You know, you're not out of the woods yet. I'm taking the light brow bone color there, and I'm putting it up here. So all weekend I stayed off of my feet. All weekend I stayed off my feet, and that is really hard to do when you have a 4-year-old. And my mom was here still, luckily, and my husband, he still is taking classes. He's working on a degree, so he works full-time, and then he has school classes online on top of that. and he had a lot to do that weekend, so it's so good she was here. And I mean, it was painful, it was miserable. And then Monday, I mean, it really started just getting better. But she was like, you know, when the prescription wears off, if it's not completely better, she said, if it still hurts at all, you need to take another dose. Well, I went to see her for my next checkup right at the end of that prescription. And she looked at it and she was like, it looks good, but I'm going to put you on 5 more days. And so I just finished the 5 days. And Lord, I'm so glad to be done with that. My foot, and it was like bruising and everything. And it's still like a little bruised, but it looks good. So that's been that. And then over the weekend, we went out of town to my parents. And they had like their local county fair. And we always go to it. I've been going to it since I was a kid. My daughter loves to go. It's a small, you know, safer fair. Well, she was acting like she was itching. We get home from the fair, and she breaks out in full-blown hives. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? That was just a tight line on the top underneath. And then I'm taking this little brush and I'm going to go back into honey butter and line under my eye. And then I'm going to take chocolate cookie and do the outside part. And if my thing cuts off, then I may just do my mascara and everything without y'all watching, because I don't think you'll care. So she had a case of the hives, which went on for about 30 hours. That was misery this past weekend. So pretty much all of October we've been like that. I haven't, pretty much during the entire course of antibiotics, my doctor said, stay off your foot, do exactly what you're doing. She said, I don't want you to end up in the hospital. She said she's had 3 cases of her pregnant patients have cellulitis during their pregnancy, and every one ended up in the hospital. So she was making me be super, super cautious. And I think that's what it is because I literally stayed off my feet the entire time and kept my feet elevated above my heart. It was misery. It does not say, it sounds, you know, in theory, it sounds really nice. Like, oh, you're just laying around all, you know, 15 days. No, it was misery, misery. Okay, so that is pretty much what it looks like. Once I put on my mascara, it will look a little more pulled together. So I'm just going to do that off camera, and then I'll be right back with y'all. Okay, I'm back. I went ahead and I did my mascara, which is just the Maybelline Lash Sensational Waterproof with the Maybelline Colossal. And if you were into false lashes, this would be a look that you could really get away with false lashes, since you do have so much going on the eyes. I just tight lined, and I didn't do a top liner because I don't think you really need it. And I think you really could benefit from doing a little bit of lining on the bottom. But I did the lighter brown shadows, and I like that it keeps it a little lighter and warmer and fresh. I felt like if I added some dark eyeliner on the bottom, it would just kind of close off my eyes a little bit more. So I didn't do that. I did go ahead and powder, and I used my bronzer, which is the Benefit Hoola. And then I figured I would pop on here and do my blush and lips, and then we'd be done. And I'm going to use my Tarte Expose blush because it's a really good kind of neutral, you know, mauvey rosy pink, and it won't be too competing with the eye look. And it definitely is a darker look, and it's something I think you just, if you're not familiar with doing it on yourself or comfortable, you have to get used to it. So even if you do it and you think, I don't know how it turned out, I think it has a lot to do with how used you are to the look. You may be, it's not that it didn't turn out good, you're just not used to seeing yourself like that. Because at first when I did it, I was just like, I don't know if I like how it looks. But I blended well. Everything looked really nice. I was going to use something else, but I'm going to go in with my Revlon Color Burst Lacquer Balm in Demure. It's like a baby pink and it's one of my favorites. It's glossy. If you're wearing a dark eye like this, you definitely don't want anything to compete with the eyes. And I don't remember what I wore in the original video, and I didn't mention it. And also, I did get a haircut. I will, I guess, discuss that more in another video. I was going to do it in my chit-chat part, but I started talking about my foot, which is a really weird chit-chat. I hope y'all didn't mind. So I did get a cut, and this is completely air dried. I haven't fixed it yet because this is a get ready with me. I don't know if I'm going to do anything because it's raining for the first time in months here. I went and got a cut, and I showed my hairdresser the picture of Makeup by Tiffany D's recent haircut. And I said I liked it, but I didn't want it quite as short because hers is more here. So we kept a few extra inches, and she just kind of, she didn't really like do layers, but she added a little bit of texture around the face where you can see like a few of the pieces are shorter, and then she kind of did just a little bit of scissor cutting in the back. She said, so if I wanted to tease it or anything. I'm not a teaser. And this is completely air dried, and I mean, it's not like the best hair do in the world as far as how it looks, but I'd be completely comfortable going somewhere like this, maybe straightening it a little bit or whatnot. It was air dried and just slip on, and all I've done is comb it out. But so far I'm really liking it, and I'm gonna play around with she straightened it. I liked it like that. I can't wait to curl it and see how it looks. So if I do a curling look and I like it, I may do a hair tutorial. I always intended on doing a curling one with my hair long, but never got around to doing that. And I don't know, my husband really likes it. I really like it. My daughter's not too keen on it. She likes long hair, but it's fun. It's so easy. During all of the ordeal all weekend with her, I never felt like I needed to pull it up in a bun. That, while I was getting ready, is the first time I've pulled it back other than washing my face. And the only reason I did that is because when I was doing my foundation, it started getting in my face. So anyways, I will let you guys go. I hope you like the look, especially those of you that requested me to do it. I hope it helps you out. Just keep blending. It definitely takes a lot longer than a regular eye look. Feel free to go into different palettes and use shades that you wouldn't think you normally would use. If you don't have the Too Faced Natural Matte, don't worry. Just use maybe a light bronzer or a darker face powder, or just find something. I just think that kind of shade really helped the smoky eye stay a little warmer, because you can see that. But do whatever you want. And I think next time I may try, instead of doing the black liner, I may do a brown liner and then use sable over it. I want to try to keep it a little bit lighter, but I wanted to stick to a look that I knew turned out okay. So that is all for now. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.